Hello, School of Community Wellness and Health members. What a crazy time it is right now. The last couple of weeks have been just literally chaos most days. I've been trying to get a school announcement out to update people on what's going on, but man, it's just things are just unfolding all the time. And so I feel like today finally I need to sit down and create a video and try and inform people as much as I possibly can about what's been going on at the institution. As we all know, there's been a lot of change going on, lots of turnover of administration, faculty, staff, everywhere. So anyway, hopefully this update will help keep you feel like you're more informed and in the loop. The first thing I wanted to mention is Dr. Peter Nanota. You may or may not know, I was informed last week that he is on a personal leave for an indefinite amount of time. I don't have any details about this, and nothing has been shared since that original announcement, which was about a week ago. I know that it's not health related, and that's really all I know. So I will keep you posted once I hear more about that situation. Second piece I wanted to update you on is on Dan Bustamante, our academic advisor and recruiter specialist. As you are aware, that position has been abolished. Dan has had some time to consider what his next steps look like, and sadly he has decided to move on from our institution. And I say that sort of in a bittersweet way. I mean, Dan, I think, is ready to take on a new adventure in his life, and I think that's an exciting time for him. But of course, he's been a huge resource to us and our students over the past many years, and I know we will all miss him dearly. His last day of work will be October 12th. And you can be assured that during that time he will continue to work for our students, and he will be updating the Student Connect Center on his role and providing them all the information that they need to hire his replacement. So in the meantime, there'll be a little bit of an interim time, I guess, when between the time he leaves and the time that we hire someone new. I have asked our chairs to be on call in the event that we need some extra assistance in terms of advising. There are people in the Connect Center that will be able to take over, but they won't have that detailed knowledge about each program like Dan had. So please bear with us, and as faculty members, please feel like you can step in and assist whenever possible, just until we get our new advisor into place. The next piece, Trish Knighton, our Dean of Enrollment Management and Registrar. That's a title change for those of you who aren't aware from last year. Trish has decided to move on from Red Deer Polytechnic as well. I've just learned today that Rebecca Benson will be acting Dean of Enrollment Management and Registrar at the institution. Tricia's, I think, found something that's really fits better for her life moving forward, and so she will be leaving Red Deer Polytechnic. Well, she has actually. Her last day of work was last Wednesday, so I wish Tricia all the best as well. She's been a great teammate of mine, and I know she's worked closely with many of our school members. Next one, IT issues with voicemail. So whether you realize it or not, there was an issue with receiving voicemail coming to our email when we weren't in our office to receive the phone call. My understanding is that the issue has been resolved, yet I'm still not seeing voicemails coming to my email. I'm hopeful that that means I'm not getting voicemails, but I am skeptical that the system is actually working. In that regard, IT has sent an email out on giving you directions on how to access your voicemail when you are not at the college. I will have May attach it to the email that you received for this video, so that if you're not aware of how to do that, and if you're not sure if you're getting voicemails, you can always check using that link and the instructions provided. Voice of the Employee survey is put out every year by the institution, and it's sent out to every employee, usually around April. It's in the spring. We would have received that this year, and I did receive results at the end of June regarding our school's, I guess, climate. I think that's the best way for me to describe it. It really is a climate survey, and it asks about 4 specific areas: how you're feeling in your role, how you're feeling as a member of your team, how you're feeling about your school, and then how you're feeling about the institution as a whole. This year's response rate was a little bit lower than last year's response rate, which isn't overly surprising given the COVID situation that we were in. But there's still a significant number of responses. I think probably in the 50s. It's a 30% response rate this year as opposed to about 40% last year. Anyway, that survey is attached to the email that you would have got the link to this video. Please take a look at that survey and let me know if you see anything that you think is interesting or glaring, that there are some issues, or just generally if you have any concerns. Normally, this is the second year we've had the Voice of the Employee survey. Normally what we try to do is if we see any issues or concerns, we like to bring the whole school together and talk about any of those concerns. Honestly, when I read the results this year back in June, just before summer holidays, I thought, there's not anything here that's really concerning to me. From the school perspective, I think people are generally happy in their roles and they're feeling like they're contributing. I think people are feeling like communication is strong and they're working well within their team. And then I think all the same at the school level. There are 2 specific questions where I saw a really noticeable drop, and that was in the team section around conflict management and respect in the workplace, something like that. The problem with the Voice of the Employee is that we don't receive any of the comments that come alongside the survey. And so I have no idea who has responded to the survey, like from what area, if you're full-time, if you're part-time, if you're in a specific program. And of course, there's no anecdotal comments there. So it's impossible to know where there's conflict going on in the school and how we can help to make that situation better. And so what I'll say is that if you are working in an area where you feel like you could use some help and some support, please reach out to your supervisor. And we will do our very best to support you in helping manage conflict and ensuring and helping people be more respectful in the workplace. I think this is the best thing we can do. Outside of that, I didn't really feel like it was appropriate to set up a whole school meeting in the summer or even here just coming into September to discuss some results that I feel really there are no glaring issues from the school, from the team, and from the personal role perspective. There are some legitimate concerns, I think, at the institutional level, and I will share some of the strongest threads I feel about the concerns at the institutional level. And again, I think if you take a look at those results and if you want to give me some feedback to share, I have been asked to share feedback on behalf of the school where there are threads and concerns at the institutional level so that can be addressed in the overall new strategic plan that's being developed. So I encourage you to take a look at that and just let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts, I'm really open to that. And please know that I intentionally did not have a school get together around this because I just didn't feel that there was enough there to really warrant bringing 100 and some people together to talk about a situation that seems like things are pretty good. So I think that's enough about the Voice of the Employee. The next piece is around faculty vaccination who are teaching in clinical sites. We are trying to get an inventory done as quickly as possible around proof of vaccination of our faculty and students, but focused on faculty right now. We have received a list where it's actually quite sporadic in terms of what's been documented for vaccination. So if you are a faculty member who is currently teaching in a clinical site or will be teaching in a clinical site this year, we would really appreciate you getting your proof of vaccination documentation sent to the Health and Safety Office as soon as possible. I just have a message here from Alicia. You should include your email, include your name, your ID number if you know that, the program that you're teaching with, and specifically state that you are a faculty member. And it would be great if you could post in the subject COVID-19 immunization record. BSCN faculty or any other faculty if you're outside of that. The email address is health.safety@rdpolytech.ca. It would be great if you could do that as soon as you can, just so that we can make sure that we've got all of those records up to date. On the same line as keeping things up to date, if you have a chance, and if you haven't done it already, it would be great if you could update your signature line on your email, on your outgoing emails, and also your voicemail, just to include the new titles that we currently have. So Red Deer Polytechnic and the School of Community Wellness and Health. It would be great. Obviously, you've got a lot of priorities right now. This might not be something that you want to do immediately, but would really appreciate it if you could make it a priority once you've got a little bit of free time to get that done. With the new name change to the institution comes rebranding. And the institution has a new brand. I was fortunate enough to take a look at it last year. And it's kind of an interesting logo. It's all, different. When things are different, it always comes as a bit of a shock. But yeah, it's quite an interesting and unique logo. The rebranding launch will be October 1st. So everyone will have an opportunity to take a look at our rebranding at the institution on October 1st. They are rolling out, they're doing it sort of in stages just to cut back on costs. So I know there's been things like name tags and that sort of thing that they've been trying to do some rebranding stuff on. But anyway, they're rolling it out in phases, and you'll have an opportunity to see what that looks like on October 1st. A couple more staffing updates. Mei Lin's title change is now official. For those of you who aren't aware, the Dean's Assistant title is being abolished at the institution, and her title change will now be Administrative Officer Academic. So I guess we'll have some other administrative officers that are in non-academic areas. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, that is Mei Lin's new title. I also wanted to let people know that the administrative assistant position that was normally held by Karina is being abolished. So that all administrative positions within the institution are being abolished. This is part of this structural work that's been going on, the restructuring of all schools and trying to create some uniformity across schools. So unfortunately, that administrative assistant position has been abolished. Alicia has been working with all of our support folks trying to figure out, pieces of that role and where that's going to fit and what's no longer going to be done. So, if there are changes associated with that, we certainly will let you know. I know we are working on an approach to the school office and supporting folks as they come in and enter that office. And anyway, as we have updates to share, we will certainly do that. I would say the area that I've been spending most of my time over the last few days is around the institutional stance on vaccinations. As of the government of Alberta's announcement since that rollout, Red Deer Polytechnic has really changed its tune in terms of our stance. And so we are embarking on a mandatory vaccination situation in the institution. And so most of you will be very aware of this because your associate deans have been working with you to try and figure out classes over the next week. So the plan is, and I don't have a lot of answers right now. This is all really new and unfolding literally as I make this video. But the plan is that we will take 2 weeks to get whatever the process will be instated in the college. So over the next couple of weeks, we are working with classes being delivered status quo following masking protocol and physical distancing protocol. So we are doing our best to adhere to those directives, knowing that in some situations we won't be able to do that or comply completely. And the institution is on board with that. And so you will be here. I'm sure you have already heard from your associate dean around your classes and whether they need to be online or whether they're face-to-face and how you're going to deal with all of that. So again, this is all really unfolding Right now, as we speak, you would have also been asked by your Associate Dean for any feedback that you might have or